Welcome to the Saddle Talk Podcast, where country living meets real talk. Authentic stories, meaningful interviews, and down-to-earth wisdom with a little Southern charm. Saddle up.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Saddle Talk Podcast, where we talk about life, health, strength, and what is possible when we look beyond the noise. All right, so today I got a good friend of mine, man. We go back to Tuskegee.
Yes, sir.
Were you in Fast Track?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, Fast Track 94. But then we also crabbed the band together. We used to have to wear the paper bags or whatever in the band. We were in the drum section and things like that, man. So we go back all the way to Fast Track 94. And he has grown and morphed into something very phenomenal. And I'm happy that he's come on today to share his experience and what he does with everybody out there in the universe. So his name is James Marcus Howard, and he's the president and CEO of Ethos Media Company. So without further ado, man, let's get right into it, man. I'm glad you're here.
Man, it is such an awesome pleasure and honor to be on the Saddleback podcast with my man Travis Gooden. Yes, indeed. CB.
Saddle Talk.
My bad. Saddle Talk podcast. My apologies.
It is all good, man.
Man, Saddle Talk podcast with my man Travis Gooden, CB from way back. TU,
I know,
MC.
Right? Hey, those were some long nights, man, marching, and we got some stories that we could probably tell as far as like, going on those band trips, man.
Man, hey, how many hours do we have for stories?
I know. Hey, one fondest memory I have of you, man, when we played, I think it was Morehouse. And you were challenging the other cymbal player, and you got up and you started doing your thing, and then he got up and just started going crazy, and then you kind of slowly set back down, man.
Hey, look,
you were outnumbered though. You were outnumbered though, man.
So humble pie is always good, right? So shout out to my crab daddy Rodney, man. Yeah. He geeked me up and built me up. It was like, Jay, you are the man. We had fire. We was getting in. And I think this might have been one of the only times that Tuskegee had literally one cymbal player.
Oh, yeah.
And I was it so much so, and I was so crunk back then, man. Dunk had bought some brand new cymbals, some 20-inch cymbals, and you could hear me over the top of the whole band, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
And so when we got to that particular game, I just knew hey, bring it on. Them four, I think it was 3 or 4 cymbal players.
I think it was 4 of them, man.
Yeah, it was 4, and I was one. So I had these big old cymbals, right? And so I was like get it, like what? Man, they came out and put these masks on and stood out and went. And so you got 4 dudes just flashing. I was like, oh. And everybody was looking at me like, Jay, what you going to do?
I know, right?
I only got 2 hands, right?
Yeah, I got to say, man, you was outnumbered, man. But I remember that to this day, man. That was a really funny moment. But you held your own, man. We Skeegy. We always hold on. So
yes, indeed.
Tell me a little bit about your company and how you got started in that. Because what did you major in college, man? I forgot.
Architecture.
Okay, so from architecture to media. So tell us about this journey and how.
If you look at, anything that you build is all the way in layers, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the strategy in marketing. So some of my business experience, I was in printing with large digital presses. If anybody knows, Heidelberg is one of the largest printing companies, the oldest printing company. Most of your large format printing is done on offset printing. So I was in printing for 7 years, and then I was in photography for years, fashion photography, media, film. I've done 2 independent films.
Really?
So I have a lot of experience in the media sector. And one of my mentors was like, with the gloss, we call it the glossy, all the look in the gloss of marketing is one thing.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't always move the needle. Because you can look good if you don't have the right systems in place.
Uh-huh.
Then all of that flashy, glossy, good-looking branding, marketing, photography, media, all that, if you don't have the proper systems in place, then you can't deliver You can't deliver what the client needs, and what they need is to move the needle. What's bringing in those customers? What's bringing in that revenue? And how are you tracking those? What are your key performance indicators, right? We call it KPIs.
KPIs, yeah.
Yeah, so how do you know that this particular asset has brought in this amount of leads? And from those leads, how are you tracking that ROI? What is the rate of return? And what is your conversion rate, right? And so now Ethos is preeminent in analytic-based marketing, right?
Okay.
So we do an ad, we do a commercial, we do content. We have the systems to track that analytically, right? And in this space of AI, just like if you go do a search, right? If you type in whatever, restaurant near me, the first thing that's going to come up is the AI mentions, right? The first thing you're going to see is AI mentions. Then you're going to see sponsored ad posts, and then you're going to see the top businesses, right? And so before, you could just do a search and you'll see the top businesses on Google Maps, right? And you might see some sponsored ads, but now with AI, people aren't even searching like they used to. They go to their phone and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, what do I want to find?"
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now, even in search, so for local businesses and even large organizations, their visibility is now being capped, what we call the authority ceiling, right? And so I produced the ebook Top of the Year that is available. We'll send a link so people can see it. That really talks about what it takes to break your authority ceiling. And that's a culmination of how you build the proper infrastructure on your website, what type of video media that you have, how do you structure your blog so that, because all of these AI mentions are getting programmed, the learning language models are built through what's called what information is syndicated. And most of that syndication content is coming from websites, blog.
Wow.
And it has to be structured in a manner that Google calls a neat.
Sounds like you got a little computer science in you too, man.
Yeah, that in ski, man, I was always in the computer lab, right? Because we had this, so I always was around computers. I grew up with computers. So I love the analytics of it, right? The science of it that makes, why does this pixel make this do that? Right. And so over the past 4 years, we've really been building an ecosystem that starts out with branding, does your infrastructure, does your analytics, and then also does your distribution, right? Your digital PR. So it's a whole ecosystem that you have to have in order to be visible, right? So for the podcast, right, you may have a website, you got a YouTube channel, but do we have press yet, right? Do we have press talking about what you're doing, right? And so that's one thing I'm going to give to my brother. We're going to do a campaign for you. That's on Ethos, because we got to give back. We got to scratch each other back.
I was about to say, man, is that a pitch right there, man?
Yeah, man. So we going to get that.
You know what, man? We're going to get into a little bit, but you know what? Your service is definitely needed, though, man. I will say this. So when I started this platform, man, and it's going great. But it's not where I want to be. But just to get to this point, it is so much time and research and figuring out. I see why people have big teams. I mean, because to be honest with you, right now it's just me, man. And that's one of my missions. I'm pretty much everything, man.
And that's one of my missions is to democratize enterprise level technology, marketing technology for the small business. To democratize enterprise level strategic analytic marketing technology for small business, because we just oftentimes don't have that. Like I was saying, over the past 4.5 years, we've really been building the branding, automated systems, AI systems. We have a robust AI powered CRM, and then the distribution, right? And so that's what small business, you need that full wraparound service. And a lot of times people just have it, oh, I got a guy who does that, and I have a guy who does that, and but none of those guys talk to each other.
Right, exactly. And see, that's what this platform is for, man. It's like, and you know why none of those guys talk to each other? Because everybody's trying to get into somebody else's circle. instead of realizing the circle that they already have. And if they come together in that circle, then they can create a bigger circle, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's the whole main thing about this platform is that, it's just like instead of trying to get in these circle of people that don't know each other, it's like, well, hey, wait a minute. I know a lawyer. I know a doctor. I know somebody who's in tech. Why don't I bring all them to the table? And then we just sit around and talk, and then everybody's like, oh, man, I didn't know you did that. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Yeah, man, it shouldn't have just ended at college or high school
Right.
or whenever you met these people. You know what I mean? That networking should just keep going on, and then we build
And
together.
that's
And that's how communities are built,
absolutely. And the issue that I see is it's most of the time the separation comes in our culture, right? We try to, once we have a level of education, we try to assimilate to other realms. And I don't have any problems with that.
Right.
But other cultures do such a symbiotic, collaborative, mission-based focus to their life, right?
Yes.
And so they share the information because they're not worried about are you going to take, because my acumen and my discipline in this area is what it is. So I'm not scared of what you bring to the table. I celebrate what you bring to the table because it only helps me be stronger.
Right.
We oftentimes think that, oh, well, somebody's going to take my shot. Well, if you know what you know and you do what you do, then we all should be able to have
And then
as
why
much of
can't
the
y'all
pie.
build together, man? It's plenty enough
Thank
out there
you.
for everybody, man. It's just like I always tell people, man, when you go down the bread aisle, I guarantee a lot of those bakers know each other, but that don't stop
Right.
them from putting their loaf of bread next to the
You know
other
what I'm
people's loaf
saying?
of bread. I mean, it ain't stop Wendy's from putting this burger shop right across from McDonald's. They both making
Right.
money, man. You know what I mean? So,
Every-
and then you can even look at it like this, man. Think about Auburn, Alabama, and Tuskegee, Alabama. It's pretty much the same setup, but the only difference is that, at Auburn, Alabama, they, build, they come back and buy the town up and put in stores and shops or whatever. They know their circle, so
They reinvest. They reinvest into their community.
Tuskegee could be just as lavish as that, but it's starting to roll out. But you get my point, man. That's a whole nother topic or whatever. But you get what I'm trying to say, man. So that's why I started this platform, because I'm like, man, we already got a circle, man. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter like your background or whatever. I got friends all over the sphere, and everybody is like, I just feel like everybody is just like looking for somebody else, whatever. Like they say on Return of the Jedi when they was like, you have all you need.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I always say, man, God blessed us in his likeness, right?
Right.
And so there's a divine gift in us all that's purpose to help build his kingdom.
Right.
And when we align ourselves, the gift is going to prosper you. The gift that he get, and when we keep it to ourselves, we're telling God, Warren, I don't believe in the gift that you have given
Right.
me.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know, and I have not taken the time to water the gift that you have given me.
Right.
Purpose, because we got to connect. This cross-pollination that we're doing is sharing the gift that God has given us.
Right. Yeah.
And so when we do
growing
that
a bigger
effectively,
garden.
there you go.
Yep.
That we
Yeah,
all
man.
can eat from.
Yes, I know that. So with your company, man, so like how did you get into this? Because you went from architecture, then you said you did photography, which is really weird because Ray Vaughn, I think he's in architecture, and then he went to photography, and now he's doing photography like full blast and stuff. And
So
even
you think
Quasi, my
about-
friend brother Quasi, he does photography too. So how did you go from architecture to photography to Ethos?
So everything in architecture, we started, like, we had to have a notepad that we walked around campus and drew. Like we had to,
Really?
we had to turn in our sketchbook.
Wow.
And our sketchbook was literally of us drawing our surroundings, right? And how we interpreted it, right?
Mhm.
So it's all visual, it's spatial organization, color palettes. The foundation of architecture was all about art.
Mm. Oh,
We had this-
architecture.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the greatest architect is in nature.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
if you look at, you just take a leaf, if you take a real leaf and look at the veins, look at how it all stems out, it all works together for one purpose, to deliver nutrients, right? And so in architecture, when you look at buildings, what is the purpose of that building, right?
Mhm.
How do the different components of the building work? And in modern architecture, it's really derived about how the sun sets and how the sun rises. You know, if this building is at a 45-degree angle on the northeast side, how is that sun helping illuminate this building? And so, you know, in production, look at how you have your lighting in your studio, right? That's a visual perspective. You have a key light, you have a backlight, you have front light. These are all light designs. So in photography, it's about light design, right? And so when you translate that into brand and marketing, you're trying to communicate a particular aesthetic to customers. And in marketing, we call it your ICP. Who's your ideal customer? What's your ideal customer profile, right? It's beyond demographics, right? It is a whole ethos, pun intended, to how someone communicates with a particular brand. When you look at McDonald's, when you look at Rolls-Royce, when you look at Nike, these things invoke a particular feeling, right? And so
Yes,
in
you're right.
development, and so in coming from architecture, when you look at art, it's invoking a feeling. When you walk into a art gallery, or when you walk into a large office building, you're going to feel something, and that is psychological, that translate to physiological, and these are all these different motifs that work in connecting.
Right.
And so, from the many different experiences, from doing a film, when the Atlanta Falcons won the Super Bowl, I got a contract to do their internal magazine, to design
Did you really?
because
Okay.
they flew out all of their employees to the Super Bowl that year, and they wanted to have a magazine itinerary that was a memorabilia for all the employees. So getting the NFL brand book to see how the NFL does their branding, what you can do, how you can use their colors, the inverted or not, you know, and they trusted my vision all the way to doing Pharma. Pharma is the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers of America, right? They're based in DC, who is pretty much a lobbyist and forum for all pharmaceutical companies. And during their 50th year anniversary, I designed their whole video vignette that they had in the Reagan building downtown, right? And so they trusted my vision, right, of how that was. So when you watch any big gala performance, you see all the videos that come in and out. So for that particular organization, I created all the videos for that, right? And so all these
Did you have any
many
training on
disciplines,
video, or you just was like, hey, I record?
I go back to the gift.
Oh,
I go
okay.
back to the gift, right? So in like I had my my sketchbook it's probably in storage, and I was going through some of my drawings. I was like, yo, I could really draw. Always love to do it anyway, right? And so you look at visually, it's all layers, right? It's all layers. And so when you really dial in, even in cooking, like if you're making a pizza, it's layers, right?
Yeah.
And so how you put those layers together,
Right.
it determines how good it's going to taste.
No, that's a very good point, man. So, like, you know, you said you worked on like some films and things like that. I didn't know you did any films. Like, you know, are they
Yes.
short films or are they long films?
Independent film. The first one was with Tony Grant and Trisha Mann Grant. They're on they've done a lot of Tyler Perry films. And they both were the lead actors in, it's called Growing Up in Two Generations. I did that, that's probably like 15 years ago. More, a little bit more. I've done some work with the city of Alexandria during the pandemic, actually. The city of Alexandria, which is right outside of Washington, D.C., typically on their New Year's Eve celebration would have 10 to 15,000 people come to the waterfront on the Potomac, right? And so during the pandemic, everything was shut down. But they didn't want to stop something that they have been doing for the past 30 years, right?
Okay.
And so during that time, everything turned to virtual, right? Just like while we're doing this now was because of
the pandemic
everything
really
in the pandemic,
turned,
right?
Sometimes I think that's planned. Like, you know what, let's turn everything virtual or whatever,
Right.
because a lot of these channels blew up because everybody was at home. That's all they was doing was watching TV and YouTube.
Right. And so one of my partners who is a world-renowned sound engineer, they came to him because we were doing live video in our studio. And so we filmed 4 concerts that they were going to stream live, as well as do a drive-in movie setup where they had 2 big panels and people were in their cars, so they were safe with their household, and watched this concert. And so I talked to the facilitator of First Night Alexandria, and I said, "What are y'all just showing the concert?" They was like, "Well, yeah, that's what we thought." I said, "Well, there's an opportunity. We could do so much more." And so we ended up having the mayor of Alexandria, all the councilmen from the city, and I did a historical walkthrough from some of George Washington's buildings, walked through Old Town Alexandria, and created a whole 2.5-hour musical presentation, including some of, the mayor and the staff, so that they could have a real show, come out. And so I did the digital infrastructure, payment gateway, the video edited and produced, and set up everything online.
You did all by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so, in business, you're always going to face a challenge where God wants to show you who you are, right?
Oh man, tell me about it, man.
I had gotten to a place where I was really, really good at editing video, filming, right? And I was like 2 months out. I can talk about it now because it's years later. And so this was like end of November, and I hadn't filmed the actual historical part yet. So God was like, "That's what you're gonna do? You just gonna sit in your office?" And so I called my mentor. I said, "Man, I'm about to go shoot all this content today." So literally, I filmed 20 scenes all in a day. Like I started like 10 o'clock all the way to dusk, and I was just going down. Had my shot list, was going around, put it together. It was beautiful. So the day before setup, I had to take the files down to where they were doing the drive-in theater, set it up on all their computers so they could put on the screen.
Okay.
Look beautiful, right? They were like, "Thank you." Then that night I was looking at it. There was a almost 5-minute black screen of gap in the 2-hour presentation. So imagine sitting in a theater and there's 5 minutes of silence and black.
Wait a minute. So this made it to like a theater?
No, in Alexandria, there's a huge parking lot where they had 250 cars parked in big screens, right? They actually had blow up screens to accommodate the parking lot. So it was 250 people, 250 cars, excuse me, and then they sold probably like about 1,000 tickets online.
Wow.
To watch it. So imagine, I'm saying, and when I'm just doing my rough overview for that night, I noticed that there was 5 minutes of black screen. They hadn't watched the thing. They just trusted me, of course, right? And so I had to re-edit. 2 hours is a huge file. It's like 10 gigs.
Ah, man, I know the feeling, man. I'm complaining about these little podcasts that I'm editing. Right? You did 2 hours, man. Jesus.
So I fixed that. Drove across the bridge, gave them the right file, but then there's still the online version that had to be uploaded. So I had to upload 10 gigs of files to the server for the people on the streaming, right?
Wow.
Now, I get back to my office. So I did the thing, uploaded it while I was going to take the files to them, right? In my office, I'm running Sonos, which is run by Wi-Fi, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's uploaded. By the time I get back, everything should be uploaded.
Right.
I get back. I'm walking down the hallway. I don't hear my music. In my mind,
oh man, I know
why is my music not playing? My music's not playing because Wi-Fi's off. I walk in. I open up my door because when you open up the door in my office, my computer screens are right there. I see the little, you see the pop-up window says error.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, did this just happen? This just can't happen. And so this is New Year's Eve. No IT is in the building.
Oh, man.
Nobody's in the building. And so I'm like, God, what am I going to do? I can't try to upload a 10 gig. I'm already on the, fast Wi-Fi in the office building. Uh-huh. You think my phone's going to be able to do that? No,
no, man.
No, sir. So I'm racking my brain, and one of my partners has a studio up the street, 10 minutes up the street, that has blazing fast fiber connection. And so I'm calling him, dude, answer the phone. He's not answering the phone. Nobody's answering the phone, but I had the keys to the studio. So I'm balling up the beltway. His car is out front. I'm like, his car is never out front. It's in the back because we always enter in the back. I drive around back. Parking lot's full. It did dawn on me that they may have been doing a watch night service there streaming out, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
they were getting set up, and I said, man, can I use your office? I need to set up. I need to upload this file. So I get it uploaded to. I finally, after 2.5 hours, get it uploaded, but it wasn't connecting to the link. Right? Called customer support. Mr. Howard, can you break down the file and put it on a different server space? Absolutely not. Why? Because everybody has bought tickets to view it on this link.
Oh man.
You can't resend out a new link that's just not how, especially back then. Everybody was just getting accustomed to viewing things online like that.
Right.
And so, man, long story short, man, God just came through and blessed me. They fixed it in the lick of time. Everybody was able to view the presentation. It was, standing ovation. Because after I finally got it online, I drove back down and was just walking. Nobody knew who I was. I was just walking, and cars were honking the horns like as a sign of clapping to different segments of the presentation, right? So it's so heartwarming. Like I literally was crying because these people are having a good time, not knowing what was happening in the background.
Oh man, hey,
not having it.
Yeah.
And not having an understanding. And I'm literally crying. I'm like, yo, y'all, like, I felt like they were clapping for me. They didn't know. They they paid a ticket to watch something new. They didn't know who I was, wouldn't have cared. But to be in that moment and to know that because God graced me and also gave me the knowledge of how to solve the problems, right? So that somebody could have an experience. And so I took that lesson that no matter what happens in business, if you keep pressing through and know that God is, you wouldn't be in this position if you did not know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm not doing this just for money. Like I have a passion for it.
Right. Exactly, man. Yep.
And so there's a desire there. The word said he will give you the desires of your heart. Like it wouldn't be that burning thing if it wasn't purposeful. And so I take those lessons in every project. And, I got to a space where, he was like, Jay, you have done all of these different things. Now it's time to build something that you fully own, that you can bring to the marketplace to help my people.
Well, I know that all too well, man. That's the same calling that I got, man, with this platform right here. It's like, you've been through all this. You've marketed with, some of the top labels and the top brands. You know how they work and things like that. So why don't you use what you have learned in order to elevate everyone else, man? And I truly, truly love doing this, man. I've only been doing this for probably about to be honest with you, I started in August, but doing it on this level right here, man, be honest with you, probably about 2 months, man. And I mean, this is one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. I can say it's in the top. Besides, my kids and all that stuff like that. This is so fulfilling, man, because I get to hear people's story, and then it just reassures me that I'm not the only one who has these trials and tribulations, man. I mean, sometimes, when I talk to different people, and I'm just kind of I'm kind of quiet because I'm like, man, and I thought I was going through the ringer.
That's the thing, man. When we come together,
yeah,
we glean from one another and be like, man, I'm not alone. Yeah. Man, I can, man, he made it over that. I can make it over that. And the collaboration of just that energy in the testimony, man, it gives you a soul encouragement that you can just take and be like, man, I can go fight this storm.
Right.
Because Travis jumped out there and did that, man. I can jump out there and do that too. Jay did that.
I was talking to two of the other guests. One of them, man, he works for NASA now, and he told me at one point, he was like, man, I got let go from one job. He's like, man, Travis, I'm being honest with you. I was driving a bus. I was a bus driver for a while, and I'm sitting there looking like, wow, he's so successful right now. But you never know that because a lot of people just look at the end. And then another guy was like, that I talked to. He was like, sometimes we find our purpose through our pain. You know what I mean?
Got to.
And he was telling me about all the stuff that he went through, and all we see is the end result, man.
Nobody wants to share the pruning part.
You don't really see all the stuff that they went through to get to where they are now, and they kept pressing. We also brought up the point that it's a quote, man, and I've said it before. It says, well, everyone knows this quote. It says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Well, if you look deeper in that, because a lady that I didn't even know just kind of like made me look a little deeper into it. She's like, "Did you hear what I said?" And then I'm thinking like, "Yeah, no weapon formed against her shall prosper." And she was like, "I didn't." She was like, "God didn't say the weapon wouldn't form. He just said that it will prosper." And so I think that, like, when you going through all this stuff, that is the weapon right there that's formed against you. But, your faith and your belief, man, will make sure that it doesn't prosper. So that's what I get out of, like, whenever I'm going through something and I think it's hard and I feel the weight of the world and I feel all this pressure, I just think about what she told me. She's like, God didn't say the weapon wouldn't form. He just said it wouldn't
That's
prosper.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This you'll get through this, man. You know what I mean? So it's a small bump in the road, not even an obstacle. It's a lesson, because sometimes,
Absolutely.
another man, and I'm getting all this from talking to different people. Like, pray for your interests. A lot of times we get selfish and pray for what we want, but pray that God is leading you to the interest that He wants you in. And I thought that rung a bell to me. I was like, you just solved half of my problems or whatever. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean,
So
even in that, if we are made in His image and His likeness, right? That means He has given us the authority to be His representative here on the earth, right?
uh
And so if we're not experiencing the alignment of
carrying that
God's
cross,
favor, right?
yeah,
There's a process to that. There's a
right.
reshaping to getting in His will, right?
hmm
And so in that shaping of getting in His will, that means we have to break our own self,
Yeah, man. To
because
the
there's a
lowest coming
duality.
yeah.
There's a duality in our making. We were born into iniquity, but we're also redeemed by the righteousness of Christ, right?
Right, yeah.
And so in that dual mindset, it's like, yo, you have them thoughts, you have them wicked thoughts, them wayward thoughts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That you have to be like, okay, let me push that aside,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
I need to get in
Yeah.
His will.
And you know what's
And
crazy?
so that
Go ahead.
and that process, man, is real humbling, because those are the times when you get pressed up against the wall and you get reminded, God brought you through this before. You didn't
Yeah,
get the
man.
lesson. He
Yeah.
brought you through this before. You ain't get the lesson. And so now when you realize, okay, let me get the lesson this time. The moment that you change your mind,
hmm
you catapulted.
Oh man, let me tell you something, man. And then I mean, we're gonna get to the business, man, but we can go on for hours. But one thing about it, man, like, like when you are by yourself and you, like, say you living by yourself and you're doing your business, it is just you, God, and your thoughts. And that is a battle in itself, man. That is one of the most. That is one of the. It's like you versus you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
And which
dude.
one is gonna win? One side of you is really smart, and the other side of you is really hard headed. So they just
Absolutely.
a constant battle, man. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
And
which one
it's
gonna win?
literally all on you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And the natural, it's all on
right,
you, right?
right.
But then you got to realize that he's never left you or
Right.
forsake you.
Because sometimes, man, you like, okay, 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. Before you know it, it's like an hour done passed. And now I just hop right up, man. I'm just like, I got to get up. I can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's that internal thing that you have to deal with and stuff like that, man. And once you overcome that, and I don't even know, well, you do overcome it, but you always gonna get tested, man. And it's
It's
always a
always the
higher
next
level.
level.
Yeah, it's another level. It's another level. You're like, man, okay, when am I gonna finally get to the level 10 to meet the final boss, man? But even when you get the level of success you want and you do, there's still gonna be obstacles, man. It's like, with this platform or whatever. I know, man, my heart is a good thing, but you got the naysayers, but I don't really care, man.
It
You know what
doesn't
I'm saying?
it doesn't matter when you're on purpose. That purpose is a lonely place.
Uh-huh.
Success is a lonely place, especially when you're doing it out into service of God's people, right? I tell people all the time, this business of mine is my ministry, right? It
Oh
is really
yeah,
my
yeah.
place of service, right? Christ was the greatest servant, right? And he was the first of many brethren. I'm just trying to be a brother.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, dude, I remember this was 2 years ago. We were doing Marymount University's commencement ceremonies on a Saturday. Bright day. We got two huge screens for the audience. It's probably about 1,000 people out on the field. We got a 5-camera shoot. I got my DP. I have my other assistant. We have the engineer tech from the people that we rent the screens from. It's all, synthetic wired cable. Like if you go to a huge concert venue, that's the type of tech we got, right? Everything we load in 2 days. I done tested everything. I'm sleeping peaceful the 2 nights before because I done tested everything, right? So that day, that morning, everything's turned on. I'm ready to roll, ready to hit play. All of a sudden, 20 minutes before showtime, everything's black. Everything is black. I'm like, so I called the engineer. Is y'all screens, everything is straight? It's like, yeah, we don't know. Well, let's check the cable. Nothing anybody did worked. I told my team, I said, step away, just step out of the tent. I went up and got in my truck. I said, God, I've done everything that you have given me knowledge to facilitate and do this. This is probably the 3rd year. We've not had any major issues. I always cover everything in prayer. I don't know what this issue is. And I just felt in my spirit, God said, go set everything back up how you had it the first time. I went back. I told everybody, don't touch nothing. I put everything back together, turned it off, turned it back on. Everything came right back up. People's like, Jay, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? I said, y'all, I use my high tool.
Yeah.
But come to find out that what the issue was that year, we had the largest solar flare that we've had in over 100 years.
Okay.
Since they've been tracking solar flares. And if you know, the radiation for solar flares can disrupt all frequencies, and a lot of our stuff was wireless.
Gotcha.
Right. And we were outside in the open air. We weren't like in a building. And so that's what messed up all the frequencies.
So yeah, man, we can go on for days with testimonies, man. That's how we do. But let's talk about your business, man. Before we wrap it up, man, we probably got about another about 10 minutes. But talk about your business, man, and what you offer. Like if somebody wanted to, get in contact with you and they wanted to use your marketing business.
Absolutely. So we have 3 places of entry. If you are a startup and have no digital infrastructure, my SBGE.com, which is my small business growth engine, really will take you from 0 to being ready to enter the marketplace. We have packages that serve every level, from the smallest business to a larger, medium-sized business, right? And then from an infrastructure perspective, and when I say infrastructure, I mostly mean communications and AI automations.
Okay.
That is our business operating system. So em2bos.com, that's Ethos Media and Marketing Business Operating System. It is a full-fledged CRM, robust power. We have 2 packages where it's if you have a team and or semi-technical, you can get the self-serve service and it'll take care of everything. If you've heard of HubSpot or anything like that, we have all of the particular modules to take care of your communications, calendars, e-commerce, web WordPress hosting, AI automation communication. So you get a business number. I don't answer my business phone at all anymore. My AI agent does. And then if you need to speak to me, you can just say, hey, I need to speak to Jay. It'll transfer the call to me or send a text or answer any questions. So we build the knowledge bases for particular businesses so that you can focus on your business, which is servicing your customers. That's what our AI agents do. And it's all in a platform that's user-friendly. We have coaching modules where if you're a coach, educator, or a thought leader, that you can sell your digital IP in a course form. We have certificates where you can give people certificates. So it's a fully robust CRM. And then we have the distribution side, which is a digital PR system. And the digital PR system is what any business who has the digital infrastructure in place, who is ready to be seen, and is struggling in this day with the largest, the most expensive ad cost that we've ever had. And also, so it helps minimize that, and as well as ensure that you are placed on large news sites. So from Associated Press to MSN, to Benzinga to Business Insider, all the top news sites we get you
I
featured on.
definitely will be. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely reach out to you and use some of these. See, this is why I do this, man, because I didn't know that you did all this, man. I really didn't. I knew that you had a media company, but until we started talking to each other and reaching out to each other, man, nobody ever know what each other really do. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just like we
Right.
see a post on Facebook, be like, oh, okay, so he's in DC. Oh, well, where are you located? You're in DC, right?
Yeah, I'm right outside DC. I'm in Laurel, Maryland.
Okay, yeah, okay, he's in DC. But, you never know really what people do, man, and that's the platform. And to be honest with you, like before we came together to do this, I mean, there's some tools that you have that I could use, and I didn't even know that. And just think that if we never would have done this, I would have never known. And I'm going out,
Absolutely.
reaching out to people who I don't know, trying to build trust with them. And I already got trust with you because we went through the ringer together.
Right.
Yeah, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like especially like being in the band, man. You know what I mean? So tell people again how to get in contact with you. And I'm definitely going to bring you on because I think I want to do like a round table, man. And I do want to do like, further on down the line, something to where like, all the people that's in tech, that we know have like a little round table, like, all the people that's in engineering and things like that, man. I got like a whole slew of things, man, that I'm brainstorming on. But tell people how to get like if they want to get directly in contact with you, like right away. What's the easiest form? Like, say for instance, like they don't have like access to get to you through all the emails. 'Cause you sent me a lot of emails or whatever. I'm like, well, which one do I email them or whatever? But like, what's the main one where
Yeah, so if you
that
go
you
to
check the most?
ethosm2.com, ethosm2.
Ethosm2.com. Oh, parent company. Okay.
Yeah, yep, yep,
Oh,
yep.
okay. All right, man. Hey,
So
well,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. So the reason why, if you look at Procter and Gamble, right, go
Mhm.
look at all the brands that Procter and Gamble
Mhm.
owns, right, and so our several different brand branches that we have are dialed in for specific niches,
Mhm.
and so we built a ecosystem in Ethos, right,
Mhm.
and so that's purpose to serve businesses where they are. A lot of them are interchangeable. Um, and when I was building the Ethos website, it is so broad, right, of what we bring to the marketplace that in several different conferences, mentors, business cohorts, you got to dial in to help people know because business people are busy, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
they don't have time to go through all of this stuff and that stuff. And you got to make it
Tell me
simple.
about it, man.
You got to make it simple, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what our ecosystem does so that when I market, I can be specific about the solutions that we're bringing, right?
Okay.
And how we can help you provide solutions to your client base and your customer.
I actually got some people that will probably be able to yeah, I'm gonna send some people your way, man, that I know for a fact that could definitely use your services. So once again, guys, it was a pleasure having James on today, man. Like I say, we go way back. He's doing big things that I didn't even know he did. His company is Ethos Marketing. I don't want to mess it up, man. But yeah, Ethos Media Marketing and Consulting LLC. So that's Ethos Media Marketing and Consulting LLC. And then that email address is going to be ethosm2.com. So if you have any questions or anything like that, send him an email. We're definitely going to get him back on. And we got some more preaching to do and we got some more talking to do, man, because he has a wealth of knowledge, man. He's from Tuskegee. So if you like this episode, just make sure you like and subscribe. And this has been another episode production brought to you by the Saddle Talk Podcast. And as always, keep it country, keep it cowboy, and God bless America. All right, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Likewise, man. Thank you. See y'all
Yep.
soon.
All right.